Yeah, good day, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. It's one of our series of monitoring and evaluation webinar series, and today we'll be looking at data quality, the basic concepts and the principles of data quality. But I feel it's actually appropriate for you to meet who the presenter is. As you can see my name there, but I have a slide to give a background on who I am. There you have the picture there. I'm a multiple award-winning public health scholar and practitioner with over a decade experience in research, in evaluation, in surveillance, and in program management. I'm widely published with more than 30 peer-reviewed scientific articles in scholarly journals like Sage, PLOS ONE, AIDS Care. I'm also a reviewer for most of these journals. And then I've presented in several international conferences, my abstracts and my papers. I'm the founder of the Monitoring and Evaluation Mentorship Network with more than 50,000 membership on Facebook. We also have a WhatsApp platform that has well above 200 people. I teach research method, data analysis, data management, scientific writing. I'm passionate about continuous and never-ending improvement. Now I think you're rest assured that probably I'm qualified to teach this particular concepts. I've been in the world of monitoring and evaluation for over a decade, and I've worked across different cascade to donor level. So I have handled and practiced the things I'm going to be sharing with you. The outline for this presentation will be looking from the objective to discussing the dimension of data quality. So what is the objective of this particular session is for us to be able to define some concepts of data quality. Why is data quality important in M&E? What are the criteria for doing data quality assessment and the mechanisms that mitigate data quality problems? We have about two different definitions, more elaborate than each other. But the first definition is that data quality refers to accurate and reliable information that is collected through a monitoring and evaluation management system. So in your mind, you need to underline accurate and reliable. Another definition says that data quality refers to the worth or the accuracy of the information collected and focuses on ensuring that the process of data capturing, of data verification, of analysis and interpretation is of high standard. So why is data quality important? Why data quality is important is that we need to prevent mistakes rather than detect them. We don't need to wait till when the system is in place, when the data collection is ongoing. We need to prevent it from happening at all before we start implementing our project. So we need to have put measures in place. Correcting data that has been wrongly recorded is very difficult and is expensive. To correct data error is one of the most expensive endeavors you can actually go into. So the quality of the data is largely determined by how well you collect your data, be it through interviews, through completion of forms, and in the presence of errors, decisions that are made on that data is queried and is injurious. Imagine yourself as a medical doctor that needs to make a decision based on information that's been made available to you. So now you get what I'm trying to say. If the information, the data that's been presented to you is erroneous, is not correct, you will make a life injury or a damning decision based on that data. And that is why we need to be careful and ensure that the data we are collecting and presenting is of good quality. Increased data quality results or translates to increased reliability and usability. What can happen in the absence of data quality? A lot can go wrong. Programs that suffer from poor data may have to use additional resources to correct that data. Like I mentioned to you, it can be very expensive to correct erroneous data. And then if the data of your program is poor, there is going to be reduced confidence of stakeholders, such as the beneficiaries. It will lead to lack of trust. It will lead to reduction in confidence. Your donors will not trust you. It might cause the organization in losing a lot of funding. Your partners might not be confident in showcasing the work that you do. And then there might be reduced support from, for you to be able to carry out a program or project, you need a wide range of support, a multidisciplinary endeavor. But if your data is poor, you are going to lose support. You're going to suffer from lack of trust and confidence. Then also, we could have missed opportunities to be able to identify either area of strengths or gaps in program activities, because if the data is poor, you might not know where you are doing well and where you need to do more. Also, there could be undesirable consequences that can come from inappropriate decision that is made based on poor data. And so for this reason, in M&E, the agenda is for us to get the right data, get the data right, get the right data, then get the data right. Also, you need to get the data right away, and you need to get the data the right way. Then you need to get the right data management. When we touch on the dimensions of data quality in M&E, I will elaborate more on those things. But always remember that you need to get the right data that is needed. And then you need to get it right. You need to get it the right way. You need to get the data the right way. And then you need to get the right data management. So a lot of people, they think data management is very, it's just the way you undo your data. Talking about identifying the source of your data, and then being able to design appropriate tools and define appropriate methodologies of collecting the data. When the data is collected, then it needs for you to do collation so that you can prepare for analysis. You need to analyze your data, summarize it, make sense of the data that have been collected and collated, and then you need to be able to appropriately report your findings. It is the findings, the information that you get from the data that will be used for decision making, that will be used for program improvement, that will be used for cost correction, that will be used for either scale up or you need to reduce some particular aspect of programs. So without this cycle or this process of data management system, you will not be able to make the right decision using your data. So you need to be sure that different sources of data, then you need to be able to define your strategies, your point of collection, your way of collation. You need to have sound way of analyzing it, summarizing it, communicating it, interpreting it, and then passing to a report that can be understood by all stakeholders, including the beneficiaries, the partners, the stakeholders, the government people, the people that are giving you funds to do your project. And then you need to be able to use it to inform decision, use it to communicate, use it. So we've talked about data management system right from the point of source of the data to the point of use. Now about data quality assessment, which involves checking data against several dimensions. And I'm going to be talking about just 6 of the several dimensions. That books that talk about 9 different dimensions. I can even see from a spot that one of the dimensions that is not even here is accuracy. But I'm going to be speaking just on these 6 dimensions, because our assessment helps us to determine areas of poor data quality and help us to and point us to the potential solutions to this. So your data must be valid. Your data what? Must be valid. How? It should actually measure what the researcher wants to measure. So you need to measure the right thing that you want to measure. If you want to measure BMI, body mass index, so you need data for height and data for weight. So if you design your data collection system and you don't have an accurate way of collecting your height, an accurate way of collecting your weight. So your weight, if you are calculating BMI, depending on the formula you're using, you need height in centimeter, or then you need your weight in kilometer. You need to have probably maybe a weighing scale so that you can get a weighing scale that is well standardized, to be sure, well calibrated to capture the correct thing. Then you need your eye scale to be able to get the height, because those 2 variables are needed for you to calculate your BMI. And then also for you to interpret your BMI, you need to have your scale of knowing of the different cutoffs. So when your data is valid, that means it is actually measuring what it is meant to measure. So if you have your data, if you have your data collection system, but you need BMI, and you omitted collection of height or collection of weight, you will be unable to measure BMI for the population. Integrity. It's simple, it's popular, it is a measure of truthfulness of the data. It is measure of truthfulness of the data. How true is this data? How true is this data? Is this data corrected from the correct person, the right way, the right manner? So reliability is another dimension of quality, and which is about consistency. So now, if you have collected a particular data, probably maybe you collected the weight from a particular sample in a population, and then we calculated the average. So if somebody else go to that population and collect sample using the appropriate sample size formula, and then collects their weights and calculates the average, the findings must not be too far away from each other. You know, the variance must not be too far from the true mean estimate. So there must be consistency. Can we say that your measurement can be reproducible? That if someone else goes there and takes the weight of a sample of this population, they will likely get very close statistics to what you have gotten. Then timeliness. So from the point of collection to collation and reporting, we need to, timeliness is very important, because if you collect your data and you refuse to process on time and it doesn't meet decision-making time, then you have wasted effort and wasted resources. So it's not about collecting the data and allowing it to just sit on the desk without it being reported or being analyzed. So there's timeliness, because every project is time bound. It is not forever. Completeness. So I was making a reference to probably you need information about BMI of a population. Completeness means that all information system captures all of the eligible persons, services, or sites. So capturing everything that needs to be captured is important in data quality, or else we'll be using incomplete data to make decision. So if your sample size is to maybe reach 300 people and you have 20 variables to collect, on no account should you allow, except the respondent refuse to give out information. And in your sample design, you will have actually factored the non-response rates. So while you are collecting your data, there must be thoroughness. The people collecting data must be appropriately trained so that they can collect the accurate information, accurate data. Then the forms that or data collection tools must be correctly completed and reported. Precision. Precision means that data have sufficient detail of measure indicators according to the indicator definition. For example, indicator that is focusing on females, you ensure that in part of a variable of your data, you are able to collect the sex. Because if you want to report something about female and you do not collect sex, because the respondent could have been male and female. So precision means to be very, 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 to have sufficient details that will be able to answer your defined indicator. So precision, like I said, if you are looking at BMI of females and in your data collection, there's no space for you to collect the gender or the sex of the individual, then you will not be able to report on that indicator, and that will be tantamount to poor data quality. So just like I mentioned, in real world situation, project activities are implemented in the field, and these activities are designed to produce results that are quantifiable. So data quality is how well the information system represents the real world. And these are the dimensions. So one of the dimensions, I mentioned accuracy, which wasn't touched in the other slide. Then confidentiality, you collected your data in trust and they've entrusted your data to you. It is your responsibility to keep the details of the clients or patient confidential. Use of data in public health is for public good, not for stigmatization or discrimination. An information system represents the activities where we collect the results and then they are produced and mapping them to some form of recording system. So just so our subsequent session we're able to dive into most of the concepts that we are talking here. Then how do you manage data quality risk? One of the simplest ways of managing data quality risk and mitigating against them is to have a standard operating procedure, documented data operating procedure for your routine actions, for your data flow, for your reporting. You need to have a a standard operating procedure, which also all the people engaged interacting with data should have been trained on this data operating procedure. They call it popularly SOP. As we wind towards the end of this presentation, I intend to make it a very short one. Always remember that quality data will give us quality information and we're able to make quality decision making. And then it will translate to high quality health and program systems. Data quality is best when the data providers know what is expected of them. And that's the purpose of training. When the data provider use the data themselves for their own work. You remember the data management system where we started from source to collection to collation, and then we handed in use. Everyone, everywhere checks the data. So for us to have quality data, we must ensure that the data provider know what is expected of them, that they use the data for themselves, even in their own work, and everyone, everywhere checks the data for correctness and for completeness. Thank you for joining this webinar. From time to time, we'll be uploading new videos. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel or this particular media so that you can get the benefits of the lectures that we'll be releasing in the coming days. Thank you and see you next time. We appreciate you tuning in, and it's been a privilege and a pleasure taking you through data quality dimensions. Thank you.